ボケって何だと思いますか？
Bokeh is the dreamy part of a photo that leads my viewer to the subject.
ボケは主題を引き立たせるために必要です。
It brings images of my wedding couples to life.
その効果は自然であることが大切で、人工的で異物感を与えるようではいけません。
I want my photographs to feel real and natural.
ニッコールレンズは滑らかなボケのグラデーションでリアルな奥行きを生み出します。
Quality of bokeh can help separate great photographs from all the others.
真に迫る立体感で新しい映像表現が可能になります。
Hey guys, here we are again on Nikon TV. Thanks for joining us. My name is Mark Cruz from Nikon Canada, and we're joined today by two amazing photographers. It's our treat to introduce to you our new ambassadors for the Nikon Canada Ambassador Program. Viktoria Haack over here on your camera left, and Tzara mode. Okay, so thank you guys for joining us on this program. It's going to be fantastic to speak with you. And all of you at home, feel free to submit some of your interaction online. We're going to be talking to you about your journey in photography and getting some insights from you. But before we do that, do you mind if I just talk about some gear for a sec? Because since our last episode, we've made a couple of big announcements. Before we get to that, we want to hear from you on Facebook. So just to make sure you guys are interacting with us, we're doing it again. We're giving away a couple of Nikon Z caps. So here's how you get it. You got to be one of the first two people to comment in the comment section down below, answering this trivia question, which is the only current Z Nikkor lens that has 3 rings on it. So a manual focus ring, a focal length ring, and a aperture or aperture ring. So 3 rings on it: focus, focal length, and aperture. If you can comment below exactly which lens that is, the first 2 gets a Nikon Z baseball cap. All right. Since our last episode, and I was just talking with you guys before, we've made a couple of big announcements for our Z lineup. So the new S-line lenses, we have announced a new portrait lens. This is the 85mm 1.8, and both Tzara as well as Viktoria have shot with this lens, so I'm going to be excited to talk with you guys about your experiences on it. This is our first bona fide lens for portraiture, and it's already out on the market. It has been for a few days now. Price point in Canada is about $10.50 for this lens, but if you're looking for, if you shoot weddings and you need that bokeh in the background, you shoot portraiture, this is the lens for you. We're just showing here the minimum focusing distance of this, so you know, if you're shooting a wedding and things like that, you can actually use it to get pretty tight on your subjects. Another thing I like about this lens is the fact that everything is so pinpoint sharp from edge to edge. It's not uncommon for people to use a focal length like 85 to take landscapes and things like this. And with the new mount on the Z cameras, you're going to get incredible sharpness edge to edge. This is just an example here of some kind of a landscape shot. Now, I also want to make sure you guys know that all S-line lenses are completely weather sealed. So it's very weather resistant if you're taking out your lens in all of the elements. Now, another one that we've announced, and by the way, I happen to have one right here. So if you look at the size of the lens, the weight of it is very, very light. It fits well into the hands of mounted on a Z6 or a Z7. I can tell you it's pinpoint sharp from edge to edge. I've used it on a couple of shoots. I'd like to get your guys' input on it in a second. But before I do, I also want to make sure you guys know that we've also announced an upcoming lens that will be available in October. This is the 24mm 1.8. So this is coming up as well. And if you guys are looking for a little bit more environmental portraits or shots that show tight areas, the advantages of a Z lens are that you get such little chromatic aberrations. You get a sharpness from edge to edge. And this shot in particular blew me away. I was showing this to my colleague Chris the other day. I zoomed in on the upper left-hand corner and saw no chromatic aberration. It was quite incredible, especially for a prime lens, shot wide open. So that shot is shot wide open. It's also great for taking portraits and having a very blurred background, because you normally don't see focal lengths of that nature have a blurred background, have bokeh when it's so wide. So it gives you a sense of intimacy with your portraiture. And of course, shooting landscapes with it, and particularly landscapes at night, you get such great clarity because point sources of light are rendered so clearly on this lens. I love it. I love the focal length of 24 millimeter, and I think for a lot of you, this might be a good addition to your camera bags. And just to let you know, in general, the advantages of Z lenses is you get 5-axis image stabilization, so it's better to handhold. You have the multi-focus system now in the 24 millimeter, a custom control ring. So that means that you don't necessarily have to use the ring on this lens for manual focus. You can use it to adjust your aperture or your exposure compensation, and as well minimized focus breathing. So for those of you doing video and things like that and you want to rack focus, you get minimal focus breathing. I'm excited about these new announcements. What do you guys think about that new 85? Have you been used it for a while?
Oh yeah, I just used it on last Sunday actually on the big gala Prix des Gémeaux, Gala des Gémeaux, which is a big gala of artistic personalities in the province of Quebec, that's known in the province of Quebec, and I just tested directly on the red carpet. And I was amazed because the celebrities, like I had a shoot on Mesa des Hommes Poulains, which is an actress, and she was really close to me, and so I took the picture, and it was really, really so sharp. And I love the blur of the depth of field.
Right.
I love that you can guess a little the sign of the logo of the Prix des Gémeaux, Gala des Gémeaux, but you guess it, but you have really I focused on the eye, and here it was almost like a blur and everything.
Right.
It was really beautiful and so sharp that sometimes I had to check that the focus was done on the eye and
right.
not because on the lashes of the.
Sure.
Sometimes the lashes were sharp and not the eye, but I mean it was like really, really sharp, oftenly everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
Where I really liked it. That's really, I had a big heart, not heart attack, I mean, but
it could give me a heart attack, yeah.
Yeah, kind of, a big crush on it.
I have a big crush on it too. It was similar to the 105, 1.4 on the F mount. Love that lens, love portrait lenses. And you, Victoria, you've had a little bit of experience with
I
it?
haven't
It hasn't been out that
used it
long.
as much, just because I've only just got it, but my experience is the same. It's so sharp. Yeah, I'm really happy with it.
You know, we're going to pick your brains in a bit about more gear talk in that. But for those viewers that are just learning about you now, we have web pages on our site now talking about both of you. A little bit of your bios on our Nikon.ca ambassadors page. But while we have our audience right now, Tzara, why don't you just tell us a little bit about how your background in photography got you where you are today?
Yeah, actually, it's a long story, but let's say that about 10 years ago, I started in photojournalism, and I started there, and then I just wanted to, actually I work in, like, for the Journal de Montréal, which is a big newspaper that has over like 1 million readers by day, and had some magazines too that does a lot of celebrities. So with experience, when I got my experience and more experiencing and things like this, I get to be close to real more artistic fields, like with artistic persons, artists in general. So, but have full of adventures and everything. So this is what I really love about photojournalism, is that one day you can do like bad guys, and after you can run after like I don't know, like justice, and you can do fires and sports, and you have so many subjects to cover. It's like being in Indiana Jones in the city, you know. So but with time, I just realized I had a part of me that really was seeking like artistic beauty that sometimes you don't find. You find a kind of beauty in journalism that is really important, but it's not. We're not seeking beauty in journalism. We're seeking reality. So there's a part of me that was really seeking like pretty shots, pretty persons, and so that's why with time I had when I was working on in the field of journalism, have my own I was a freelance, so I had some other clients too. So I get to do commercials and portraits, individual portraits, artist portraits, comments of personal portraits, things like this, and landscapes, and traveling a lot and things like this. So this is really what I love about, like, now I'm in the middle, seeking for the balance of the values of journalism, which is authenticity, emotions, telling a story, and what the society asks right now, which is beauty, Photoshop, and everything. But I'm not into that much because I feel a bit more like a rebel about that. I'm more like seeking for beauty and charisma, and in emotions than just Photoshop, which is
I
not
think
what I call photography.
I know exactly what you're talking about, because I was reading some of your insights into photography, and the way you talk about lighting your subjects, you make a point about saying you want to find the best lights, the best environments to showcase their subjects and tell their story. So I think that's where your strength lies. Can you tell us a little bit about your approach to going about that? Because I know you just told me right now you balance the line between journalism, which is very realistic, as well as beauty. How is your approach to lighting when you're balancing those two worlds?
Well, for me, lighting is lighting my subjects. So what I mean is that my strength is more in provoking an emotion, provoking an action. Because when you're provoking a reaction to on a subject, the subject lost his control he has on himself. So you have a real emotion, you have a real part of it that, because in our society right now, we are so used to control ourselves to the way other people look at us. So everybody has something like, oh, I don't like this. I'm not really photogenic. How do you call this?
Photogenic.
Thank you.
Yes,
Photogenic.
I
Sorry, my
totally know
English
what you
is not-
mean.
Okay, exactly.
Yeah.
So they're telling this a lot, and what I'm trying to do is really to make them feel comfortable with what the other sees of them, except of what they, but not about what they see in themselves.
Right.
What I mean is like you always have someone say like, I don't like my double chin. I don't like my cheeks. I don't like my hair. What my strength is to really make them feel pretty, beautiful, and because this is how we see them.
Right.
And this is what I'm trying to do, because for me it's important that there's a cause, that there's a utility of what I'm doing, and that's why sometimes I'm really happy to just hashtag no Photoshop on the pictures, because I barely Photoshop my pictures, except the basics. I don't do that much retouch, except if we ask me to.
And that ties into one of your sayings, I think, is that you try to advocate for the beauty in people's imperfections.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great way of putting it, advocating the beauty in imperfections. And I think those come out a lot in your photographs when I went on your website. So both of you actually, if we're going to put some links in the comment section just to make sure viewers can see your work, because it's a breadth of work. I was looking, because I had not met you guys until just recently, and I was talking to Chris before I even met you. Their work is astounding. So I mean, just from what I see on your website, I was really blown away by that. Can you talk a little bit about your experience with celebrities? Because you do a lot of work with celebrities.
Yeah, Quebec celebrities,
Quebec
international
celebrities.
sometimes. Yeah, actually, well, they're like everybody. They have their own like fears of what they're going to look, and I think that the most difficult with celebrities is that they're so photoshopped, photo shoot, that I think that they know them that so much. They learn of knowing how they react and how they move so much that they're totally losing control of spontaneity and authenticity. They're going like more like sometimes it's more like they're playing dolls with themselves. Like this, and I'm not going to do that so much. So I'm really I have some trouble sometimes with celebrities, because they are stiff. Sometimes they can be stiff, and I know I don't want you to do that. I'm just gonna just take me on the wall like that, and it's gonna be okay because I want that way. So I had to getting a little bit like moving more and things like this. So that's the hard point. But the fun point is that you're used to talk to artists that has a lot of experiences and that are just fun to live with and to exchange with.
That's really interesting because when you talk about, when people naturally think about celebrities, you would think that they naturally have this, comfort level in front of the camera and everything would come naturally. But you're saying it's
But
so much so it's
for me, it's not a good thing.
right, because it's so much over the edge that it's unnatural. You want to find the real them and
Yeah, because they know. I'm pretty sure they know that if they're doing that. Sometimes I saw they're like this and they're doing that way because they don't like the chin there, and so I see them like this and no, this is, I don't want that. I don't want to shoot that. I want to shoot something more natural. So that's the difficulty. But they get comfortable, but they get to just like playing the same game again and again, playing the same poses again and again. So it's not interesting for me.
Well, I think if people check out your work on your website, they'll be blown away by the way you've been able to, photograph them and light them in such a way that, makes people see them in a different way that they might not have seen themselves. One more thing is you have an exhibition out, I think right now, Skin Faxi?
Skin faxing.
Can you tell us what that is? We have some example pictures that we're going to show right now for the audience.
But Skin faxing is an exhibit of my subject is horses for different reasons. It's an exhibit that I did in last November. That's still in galleries in Montreal, and I've sold some of the pictures like in different places in the world. And it's plexiglass and it's in really big sizes, like 40 by 60 inches and things.
I think
like
we're going to
this.
have some behind-the-scenes video here from your actual exhibit gallery in a second.
I did that exhibit because actually I've met a horse one day. One day that I didn't feel that well, and then when I don't feel well, and sometimes it happens, I went to go take a walk, and then I saw a horse, so I stopped with my camera and started to meet him, to want to see him, and the horse went to see me. And he just started to laugh at me, actually, and then run away from me, and then came back from me, and then come back on me, like near me, and he started to telling me just take a breath, and by just breathing slowly, and so I imitated him, I copied him, and I started to relax too. And what happened there is just okay, so I wanted to thank them.
Okay.
Because horses are amazing, actually, creatures that really looks like us, and not look like us, but I mean has the same kind of instincts and everything, but they're authentic. And this is what I'm looking, as I said earlier, I think I'm looking a lot for authenticity, and actually won't complain on their hair. So
right, their mane.
Yes. And there was a book going on with that too, which has 25 celebrity of Quebec that has written a text based on the 14 pictures I've taken of the horses.
Okay, right.
And it was unconscious texts, because the only thing we can't control in ourselves right now is our unconscious.
And where can people find that book?
In every good library in Quebec, because it's French. It's
Fantastic. Can you tell us really quick how you shot those images? Those black and whites there, they look almost as if they're infrared.
I know, but no, it's actually, I shoot it with, I had a particular thing. I had my 70, actually, I used to shoot them with a simply 70, 200 millimeters.
Okay.
But the thing is that, no, it's a special treatment I do on the black and white, but there's no other Photoshop.
Okay.
It's black and white, Photoshop, and the light, obviously.
Beautiful.
That sometimes because it has been taken in the snowy places, and there's a lot of reflections.
Oh, okay. So this is actually out in the wintertime.
Exactly.
Okay.
They're really natural.
Boy.
They're not Photoshopped. They're always, someone has even mud on his nose. But anyway, black and white doesn't show that much.
Beautiful. I've never seen anything like that. Maybe we'll move on to you now, Victoria. Maybe if you can just tell us a little bit about yourself and the viewers, as well as your background.
So I've always been into the arts, and I was given a Nikon camera for my 18th birthday. and didn't do too much with it until I moved to a small island in the UK. It was just 500 acres, and I lived there for 10 years, and there was the last boat in the evening was at 4:30, and in the morning the first boat was at 8:15. So we were kind of stuck with 500 acres. And it was at that time that I got my camera back out and just started shooting everything. So I would just walk my dog and then photograph just the landscape. And I think having 500 acres made me really have to kind of, I had to work with what I had. So I had to make the most of everything that I had. And that's really where I became interested in photography again. And I was lucky the island was owned by the National Trust, which is the largest conservation charity in the UK. And they actually commissioned me for my first paid work. So I was pretty lucky that my first can't think of the word, but my first
job,
yes,
right? Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, my first gig was with the National Trust, who are pretty big. So that's kind of where it all started.
Beautiful. And then you moved out to British Columbia.
Yeah, so I moved to Canada about 11 years ago.
Okay.
And then moved to a small town in BC called Salmon Arm, and continued with my camera, and just loved the fact that I could now access these larger landscapes and things. And I would post to social media, and then gradually people were asking me to, photograph their families, and then I ended up shooting weddings, and so just kind of fell into it.
So you are British Columbia based. That's why you have all those amazing landscapes on your website right now. How was your formal education, your background? And I believe it's fine art, anthropology, helped you in your photography career.
I think just spending years, doing art and then studying art history and anthropology, I think you just look at so much stuff that you intuitively start to kind of understand composition without even really knowing it, and things like color. And I think also studying anthropology, it helped me realize that we have, many Western conceptions of what art should be, but in other cultures it's something entirely different, and it breaks that down and helps you to really kind of realize that you can, there are no rules really. So it really helped me to kind of figure that out.
Well, your work in landscapes are phenomenal, but so is your wedding work, as well as your lifestyle editorial. You have a diverse range, as do you actually, Tzara, as well. But what keeps you the busiest? What pays the bills for you versus what you just love shooting?
It used to be very much people photography was what would pay the bills, but over time, beginning to sell my work, my landscape work, to stock agencies, and then doing landscape workshops and that kind of stuff, magazine work, and now I'm writing for magazines and things like that. So it's kind of diversified, and I would say probably there's still a large percentage that is kind of people-based, but also moving into the tourism field too, you need to be able to shoot kind of landscape style as well as portrait and lifestyle. So it's pretty diverse. I'm not quite sure where the major, probably mainly people focus still, but certainly more landscape
And I
stuff.
notice also you are running a workshop coming up this fall. Do you just want to plug that right now?
Yeah, we're heading to Scotland, to the Scottish Highlands and to Skye. It's a small group of about 8 people, and I'm running it along with David Topping, who's a Toronto-based photographer, and we're also being guided by a couple of Scottish professional photographers that live on Skye, so they are going to be able to get us to the right places at the right times for the good light and everything, so it should be fun.
Great, and sorry, I don't know if you mentioned that. We're going to plug it in the comment section, but the exact date for that again was?
I think it's the 4th to the 11th of October.
Okay,
I think.
it's on your website anyways.
Yes, it's on my website.
We're going to put that in the comment section. All right.
Yeah.
Tell you what, we're going to take a break right now. When we come back, we're going to have a little bit more Q&A with Tzara as well as Viktoria. So be back in 1 minute, folks.
I wanted to have the lights of Paris, clean background, pure lines, beautiful use of golden hour as well, and so it was really exciting for me to get the chance to shoot that with this new lens. I'm Chloé Lapessoni. I'm a French photographer specialized in weddings and portraits. When I shot with the 85, it's amazing compared to what I've been shooting because the focus is extremely sharp, but also we have the bokeh, which is like super smooth. I didn't get any chromatic aberrations or fringe like I would like, and I didn't get any ghost flare either, which was amazing because I don't have to deal with that in post-production. Good portraits for me is like being able to have a really nice bokeh and the sharpness when you want it and where you want it.
Bingo, we're back. Look at this. Victoria's struggling with her blindfold.
It's not staying
Yeah,
on, no.
Tell you what. It's the honor system. You guys are honorable, so
Okay,
you know, I
it's
know
gonna have
you
to
won't
be.
look.
It's not staying.
We like to have a little bit of fun here on Nikon TV, so we are going to have a little game called Cruz Versus. It's to see how well our new Nikon ambassadors know their gear, okay? And what we're going to have them do right now is figure out if they can guess exactly what the item is that I'm going to plop in their hands right now, just by feeling it. We're going to have I'm going to give it a 30 seconds. Oh, sorry, 1 second. It's back here.
I've only got
In
one
here?
hand.
Okay, cool. Yes, in our trusty Nikon box. Heads up. And okay, no peeking, no peeking. All right, okay. So Tzara, you're gonna put out your hand. There we go. And as well as you, here it comes, Victoria. All right. You can have 30 seconds. I'm gonna get my 30-second countdown right now to see if you guys can guess what that is, all right? So on the count of 3,
I have to close my eyes.
2, 1, here we go. All right, so you can, take off the hood if you need.
If I can. Oh.
There we go. No peeking, no peeking, no peeking. That's it. Feel the focus ring there. Feel the dials. Feel the switches. We have 8 seconds left, folks. Do you know your Nikon gear? In 3, 2, 1, stop. Okay. Tzara, can you guess what was in your hand? Now, give it a guess. Give it the old college try.
1424 2.8.
Oh boy. You know what? I can see why you might have thought that, but it is a little bit longer than that, all right? So it's okay. Don't worry. And Victoria, do you have a guess what it might be?
This is not one that I think I own, but is it the 105 1.4?
Ooh, wow, look
I
at
borrowed
that.
it. If it is, if it's
Darn.
right, I borrowed it.
Just
No?
from borrowing it, you are correct. Okay, you can open your eyes now, all right? Woo, I think now the best I can do is tie Victoria, because she got it right. Fantastic.
I'm
Tzara?
surprised.
Totally not.
That's okay, that's okay. You know what?
Wow.
Everything's different when you're blindfolded, right? It's a different,
Thank you.
sensation, right? Yeah, it's very hard. But now, fair is fair. I'm gonna give it a try. You guys know how to work one of these, all right? Just hit the start button. There, Victoria, okay. And what's
sauce.
gonna happen here is, you know what? Let me take these lenses from you real quick so they're not in your hands. And I'm gonna get going because technically I have yet to be defeated in this game, all right? So let's go, kids.
Okay,
Only give me 30 seconds.
I'm starting.
I
Am I
might
starting?
need only 10. Okay,
I'm
here we
going.
go. Starting now? Okay,
Yeah.
we're on. Oh boy, okay. So this is an S-line lens. Oh boy. This is, can I feel from the, oh. I see. So it doesn't have the girth of a 50. Is it a 35? Oh boy, there's only one switch, obviously. Boy, I could really humiliate myself if I get this wrong.
You've got 3 seconds.
3 seconds? Okay, in 3, 2,
You're
1.
out of time.
Okay, guys, is it the 35 1.8 S-line lens? Oh my gosh, you exhaled, so am I wrong? Oh my God! Play my music, play my music. Oh my gosh, really? Folks, I am yet to be defeated. I am yet to, put a bumper, make some fireworks go off or something, because this is the way this works. I'm just gonna let you know. I tell Chris to pick out something for me. So I don't know what's going on, okay? He picks it for, I might know what you guys are gonna have, but I do not know what I'm gonna have. So Congratulations, we're tied, okay? Tzara, welcome to the team, but you know who's top of the pecking order when it comes to blindfold, right? So,
Yeah, but
pleased to
I
meet
know,
you.
Nice.
I'm also the host of the show.
I wish I could have like
All right, so
300 millimeters for me. That
it's
sounds
all
really
good.
easy
It's
that
all
way.
good. All right, so what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna get back to a little bit of Q&A here because I want to pick your guys' brain about a little bit more about you. You know what? I want to know personally what you're excited about when it comes to the future of photography. What excites you the most? You know, you do so many different things, but if you just had to think about what drives you to get up in the morning, maybe Victoria, we'll start with you. Just the future of photography for you.
I think for me, just the new Z series is really exciting. Just the lightness. I'm not getting any younger, and to have something that's that light and with that kind of dynamic range, that makes me really excited about the possibilities of what could happen with that.
What were you using before the
So I've
Z
been
series?
using I have a D4 and I was using the 800 and I've now got the 850 as well.
Okay.
But just the lightness and, you know, now I'll pick that camera up just to walk the dog, you know, just because it's so light and easy. And, you know, and the D4 is that much heavier that it just makes everything just, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, we'll talk about your dog in a moment, but Tzara, what about you? What excites you about photography, the future of photography?
What I can see is that it's keep progressing and progressing, and so the possibilities are just progressing too. So I think I'm a dreamer. So maybe like I think it's gonna be amazing if we can reach the moon with all that things and I mean like do whatever we want to do with that. I think that's, how can I say this in English? I mean, the thing is, I think what makes me really happy is that it will probably bring more different type of vision of the humanity on our planet, because the possibilities are more multiple each year and each decade.
I know what you mean, yeah. You know, if things don't work out for you in photography, you could be a politician because you know both languages, both official languages, right? And you do a great job.
Should I change up?
No, I think you should be you could be the best prime minister, photographer / prime minister in the future. Tell you what about changes in photography? Because you both have been doing it for a while. What have been the biggest changes that you've seen since when you've started to now?
Just there's more photographers, aren't there? There's lots more people that are shooting, and I think as cameras become kind of better and it's easier to get a good shot, and there are just more and more people out there that are shooting. So as a professional photographer, there are a lot more other people that are becoming professional photographers too.
And how does that affect you?
I think you know, you have to be, you know, professional. The experience that you have, that you bring to the game, is something that some of those people don't have. So, and I think for me, I've been moving more into an educational kind of role. So helping those people that are wanting to become photographers, to kind of help them with that.
Seems like a natural transition.
Yeah.
Tzara, has the changes in recent times affected the way you shoot or the way you conduct your business?
No, because I think, well, yes and no. I cannot say no, but I think that when I saw all those pictures on Instagram, Facebook, where we have so many pictures going on in front of us and Photoshop, and again, that the thing is, I think that if the question is, how can we be here with all that noise going on, with all that, how can we go and be seen with everybody posting pictures that they think they're good, because some are good though. I mean, I'm not telling that.
Don't go on my Instagram, they're not good.
No, I mean, but I mean is that where it really changed, I think, in 10 years is that 10 years ago, people would say like, oh my God, you're a photographer, wow, it's amazing, blah, 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 what kind of life you have, and now it's like, oh yeah, come on, it's just a click, do it, you know. That's maybe the way, I think the people see photographers, that has changed, I think, more than photography itself has changed a lot too, but I mean, like, I'm more like thinking.
I know what you mean. The perception of photographers have changed from
and
the public, and that's probably changed the way that you have to deal with your customers or clients.
Even because of Photoshop has changed a lot, because now, as I was talking with the other ambassador, is that now the pictures have been so much photoshopped, and it's like, you know, they reverse the face and everything, and
Okay,
and
yeah,
that's
mirroring.
what I wanted to talk to you earlier with that, is that it's, for me, it's not photography anymore. It's like digital picture or digital design. It's digital art, and for me, photography, it's to really keep it really real. It's okay to Photoshop a little bit, but not change everything in it. For me, this is not photography. For me.
I know exactly where that comes from. Your background in photojournalism.
Yeah,
Of course,
maybe,
that's the mindset.
But what I mean is that is.
Well, let's talk about social media. Both of you are on social media. Both of you have significant, social media presence. Both of your websites, obviously, but now there's things like Instagram. How has Instagram changed the way you operate? Because maybe you can give us some insights. Not everything that you post on Instagram is something that you post on your website. How do you utilize that forum? We'll start with you, Victoria.
I think for me, because I live in a small place and because I've always lived in small places, that social media has been my shop window. It's the way that I can put out there kind of what I'm doing, and it's how I attract my clients. And so I use social media very much that way. And then as for what I post, on social media as opposed to my website, I think you have to understand the Instagram game. There is a game to be played, and you can kind of play that game, but still stay true to yourself, I think.
And
so
you're
it's
very
trying
hands-on with that. So
Yes.
does that take a lot of your time then?
No, I try to post regularly. So I try and post at least once a day on Instagram.
Okay.
But I try not to spend too much time with it. But yeah, I think that there's definitely a game to be played, and I think you need to find your own comfort level. There are people that say you should only, if you shoot landscapes, just post landscapes, or if you shoot portraits. And I don't do that. I tend to just post what I want to post, and I lose followers and I gain some followers. And we were talking about this earlier, but I think ultimately you hopefully end up with a core of people who that kind of like your work for whatever you produce, rather than social media putting you in a box. I like to kind of keep pushing the box open and just post whatever I want to post, really.
Great. Tzara,
Well,
you
I
use...
totally think like her too,
Okay.
but I think that what happened was when Instagram happened, totally, we do verticals, horizontal, then you had to think square. You had to think square and say, oh no.
Square, right.
So it changed a little bit, because I think with Instagram, not the point of that is that you're comparing a lot. So that's why I think like her that in one moment when I was talking about like how do you can get heard, by in all that noise, is that just focus on what you're doing. Don't care about whatever happens near you, and just do push it outside the box exactly, and do what your thing, what you love, what you like, the way you like it, and that's what actually it gives confidence after making you feel not comfortable.
Sure. No, I know what you mean. You're putting yourself out there. You're very vulnerable when everybody has so much access to you now, and commenting and things like this.
And you often know that you're going to post something that's not going to be liked. But if you want to keep the parameters of your box open, then you just post it anyway. And that's what I tend to do, is I know that it won't be well received, but I don't care, and I'm still going to post it, because otherwise I'm putting myself in a box, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So.
Great. Well, I mean, it's great to hear that you're true to yourself, and that that you post what you want to post. Now, I got a couple of Tech Talk questions here for you guys. You're both shooting with the Z now. Are you still going back and forth between DSLR, or are you shooting primarily mirrorless? What do you think?
Well, I'm a slow mover with everything, so my technical abilities are always slower than most people, so it takes me a while. But I'm using the Z, and I will be using it more as I slow down a bit with my clients. I just need time sometimes to kind of get my head around things. But yeah, it's awesome, and yeah, I love it. I just need a bit more time, which I will have this winter.
Okay,
so, yeah.
Right. And you, Tzara, are you your new transition?
Oh,
okay. So
I
it's
wish I could have like the Z6 and another Z6 or Z7. I don't care. I wish I could have two right now. I'm like I was like working with my D4 like maybe like 4 days ago.
right.
And then after one day, I just like the second day, I said, okay, now today's studios, photo shoot, red carpet. I'm
Right.
So I didn't take my my D4 with
Right.
me. I said, let's go play in the field with that, and whatever happens, happens. So actually, yeah, it went really well.
Oh, that's great. And you're using it and ambient on the red carpet, and you're also using
I'm using
flash
everywhere.
and
Everywhere,
studio even.
everywhere,
Okay.
because
Do you have a favorite lens?
Why? Actually,
One
I
lens,
really
just one.
Can I say not a lens, but I love the fact the adapter,
Oh,
I
the
love
adapter
flash.
to use your current f-mount lenses.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do, but I mean, I'm using the Z6 for everything. But yeah, but for the Z series, I'll say that for now on what I have been tested, because I've only tested the 50 millimeters 1.8.
8. Yes.
And the 85 millimeters and 1.82,
Right.
and totally the 85 millimeters.
Totally dated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably. And you, Victoria, is
Yeah,
there any one single lens that you like in all your time?
Do you mean just generally?
Just
or?
generally, yeah.
My 70-200 2.8.
Oh, 70-200 is your
Yeah.
go-to.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites as well. Special projects here. I just wanted to get to. You have a special project. Well, Jack the Wolf skin. Can you just tell us a little bit
He's
about
not
that?
a special project, but no, he's
Oh, I
just.
mean, he's your dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He has his own Instagram
He does.
site and
yeah.
everything.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, he's a 3-year-old Malamute, and I spend a lot of time with him. And so and also I think with social media, it's expected that you give something of yourself, and I don't really want to give too much about my family and my child and stuff. So my dog is that's me. There's a bit of me there, right there.
Beautiful,
So,
yeah. So he
yeah.
has his, and that's linked in your Instagram page as well. Do either of you want to plug any special projects coming up for either of you?
Well, there'll be a book for me launching in November this year. It's going to be a French book based on beyond the images. What happens? It's probably going to be called System D. But as I said, it's going to be in French, and it's going to be launched in every French country in the world. So that's what's going on in November, and I think I have something else, but right now.
I know what you were going to say. Both of you are going to be speaking at our Profusion booth this coming. No, actually,
I am.
Okay, sorry, Victoria. My producer is giving me the evil eye right now. Victoria is going to be at the Profusion booth this coming November. It was, I was talking about previous expos that we've spoken at. Tzara has spoken at, I think, Gosselin, yes, show. And we have some, I think we have behind the scenes picture here. So you guys are adept to speaking at some of our stages in the past. And we're thanking you for your contributions to the photographic community. Oh my gosh, now Stefan has totally thrown me off on my pronunciation of photographic. So we're looking forward to some of your interactions with the NikonTV audience, as well as our Canadian audience in general going forward now that you're official Nikon Canada ambassadors. So welcome to the team.
Thank
and thanks everyone for participating today in the comment sections below. Remember to comment on what is the only Nikon S-line lens that has 3 rings on it: a focusing ring, your aperture ring, as well as your, what did I say? Focal length ring? Oh my God. I need a consultant here, and you can win a Z baseball cap. First 2, okay? Fair is fair. So first 2 to comment, and we'll see you next time on Nikon TV. Thanks, guys.